edition of Mike North Early Bears. That's what it is. Week 11 of the National Football League. We've got a lot of interesting games to talk about, and we're going to talk about Mike. We're going to talk about the Bears. We're going to talk about anything else because nothing is scripted here. It is just all fun and lots of Mike North. Mike, how are you, my friend? Oh, by the way, Mike, your microphone is muted, as I can see by the little symbol by your name. That thing has been muting all morning long. There it is.
I don't know why it's like that. It's bothering me tremendously. I'm not really touching anything. I'm going to just keep the arrow up there and just be happy that I'm here. Let's go on, everybody. It's time to play. It's time to have fun. It's time to be sensationally handsome and humorous if we can. There's Matthew Focchisi. Huh? Are you kidding me? He's up there today. We're going to have some fun. A little snowy in Buffalo.
Oh,
myself.
Yes.
How weak has this country gotten? How weak has this country gotten? You really believe the Buffalo Bill fans forever will be mad about this? They want to go to the game there. Hey, go at your own risk. I'm seeing reporters out there this morning going, I'll tell you what, it's good that the game, and there's a truck going by, or there's a car going by while they're talking, okay? While the reporters out there, you've seen them when they act like they're going to be thrown into the ocean during hurricanes, and there's people walking behind them as they're talking. One of my favorite videos of all time. He goes, it's really terrible. And there's two people. There's a guy looking at his watch, you know? My deal is it's the National Football League. We played the day after the president got his head blown off, all right? So the snow to me, of course, they have the radar. I've seen games called off or postponed because of rain, and it never rained. That being said, the pictures look like Chicago sometimes. That's what they look like. I would have liked to see it there, but it's Detroit. Who cares? I'm sure the players are thrilled. Here's another thing. When you're the commissioner and you make $44 million, you don't really do much. You just do what they tell you, and you've proven that out to me a million times, from the deflated football issue to whatever. Where's the commissioner to say, leave Thursday so you don't have to have people dig you out on Friday or Saturday? Leave Thursday. There's a storm coming. We're going to keep the players here, and now we're going to go through hell trying to get buses for them to one place and fly them out to another place. Leave Thursday next time.
Wouldn't that be like such an easy thing for somebody who's making $35 million a year to think of? Hey, can we have them leave in the middle of the week before the storm hits?
Yeah, it's going to be a bad storm. We're not going to be able to play 70 to 80 inches in the span of 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Drifts up to as high as the Empire State Building. The team will leave Friday afternoon. And then you see people, the fans got to get them out of their homes. So Goodell falls asleep once again.
Oh, Lordy. By the way, Laz says Adam Rank mentioned Mike North on his podcast this week. You know who Adam Rank is, Mike North?
Yeah, I love Adam.
Yeah, he's outstanding. Nice.
But when I hear something like that, I always fear. No, I don't. I don't care anymore. I'm a man I'm LaMotta. Yeah, I'm LaMotta. I'm looking, I got the plates. Yeah. The best ad lib scene of all time is when he's looking for the belt and looking for stuff, and he reaches inside in the movie Raging Bull, the greatest sports movie of my lifetime. Mm-hmm. And he reaches around and the plates fall. Yeah. And he says, where do you keep the plates there? Well, that's where you were supposed to keep the plates. But De Niro knocked him over, and he had lived there. And he's asking the wife. It's like me knocking the plates out of the kitchen cabinet. Why do you keep the plates there?
I love it.
I love that scene.
That is really one of the, if not the best sports movie of all time. Well, it's then
I interview the guy. Then I interview the guy, and I go, we have him on TV. And he goes, he's there since at Basta Pasta since like 4 in the afternoon. They're entertaining him. Mm-hmm. And it's my favorite story. He goes to BB. He goes, hey, what kind of TV am I getting? He goes, you're getting a 27-inch TV from the little guys. Oh, no. I want big TV. Now, this is the guy that tipped his table over.
Yes.
You bothered me about a steak. So I'm thinking he's going to take the whole set and destroy it because you bothered me about a TV. We're hiking it up.
Oh my God.
I also had to promote his Jake LaMotta tomato sauce, which was so apropos and blood red. Don't forget, you got to promote my tomato sauce, made from the blood of Tony Calento, who my wife said was handsome, and I didn't like that. So that's his blood.
That is
Yeah,
wild.
but then he says, I want a 27. I want a big TV. I go, okay, where are we going to be? He goes, where are we going to send it? He goes, post office box. I go, wait a minute. You can't send a TV, Jake, to the post office box. Oh, well, you can't send it to my house. My sister will steal it. True story.
Oh no.
True story. Great times.
Fuck
The
yeah.
Raging Bull.
That is outstanding. And don't forget the cannolis. Says, oh, geez.
Don't forget my tomato sauce. And then I asked him about the fixed fight, and he almost walked off the set.
Really?
I said, what happened with the fixed fight? Why you have to bring that up? Because it was in the movie?
Yeah.
Because you fought James Cleveland. He couldn't punch worth a damn, and you I mean, the whole scene where your brother says, look, pretend you're hitting me. What's wrong with lying on the floor? You said you're not going down for anybody. I didn't make that up. I mean, he almost walked off the set over that. I said, it's in the movie, Jake. I said, but he wanted to erase that from his past, and you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Unbelievable. Outstanding stuff. And why don't we talk about football? There's not a morning game this week, right? Nobody's playing in Europe. I believe they're playing in Mexico City today.
Yeah.
I have to write down which game it is, but why don't we turn
It's San Francisco, Arizona, Mexico City, Monday night. Jimmy G, who will be if you want a guy that could play Tarzan, or to me, I'd have every old Italian sounds like the Godfather, Matthew.
Right.
If you really wanted to make it a hit, you have Jimmy G ride in on a white horse, dressed up like Chevy Chase in the Three Amigos. I mean, that's you're right there in Mexico City. I mean, you want to talk about a handsome man, Jimmy G. I mean, going to play in Arizona, in Mexico City. They go everywhere every week, and it seems to be working out. I mean, that crowd they had in Germany was fun, and you got to see a guy. Look, I guess you want to go see somebody that you've heard about in a sport you don't understand if he's sensational.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like going to see Pele. Okay?
No,
I didn't care. I saw him on TV. I go, it's 1-0. And he got in the set. I mean, yeah, exactly. And then, I know all the great players. Maradona, I love him. He was out of his mind anyway.
Yeah.
And Ronaldo and all these guys. And I saw something today as far as handicapping goes. This World Cup, believe me, folks, I did this for a long time. Everybody now has a stake in soccer. Everybody.
Yeah.
And then when they leave, nobody will have a stake in soccer.
That's right.
The great Lee Stern told me 30 years ago, in 20 years, soccer will be the biggest thing going. So it didn't work out. It hasn't worked out. And the soccer league in America is basically a minor league type of thing. So the World Cup is huge. We'll see what happens. They're trying to tell us the Americans have a chance if they get momentum and everything else. Give me a break.
Did you just make a Three Amigos reference?
Yes.
It went over my head, but a lot of people caught it.
Have you ever seen it?
I saw it when it first came out. When was that? 1987?
Right. Yeah. They played the Three Amigos, and they're dressed up like Mexican, the guys that walk around, play. Yeah, and they got guns and everything. It's great. Jimmy G, you put him in that outfit, okay? You have him ride into the Mexico City Stadium on a white horse, jump off, rip it off. He's got his 49er uniform on. He owns it.
That's a blockbuster right there.
Oh,
I love it. Yeah, I used to be called El Guapo for a while, and then I lost my looks, and now I'm called El Gordo.
Listen, as long as you're not El Chapo.
That's right. All right, let's talk.
We've been waiting for a project to get done in Chicago, the Deep Tunnel Project. I think it's still going on after 50 years. El Chapo built a tunnel like 500 miles long in like a matter of weeks. You know,
How about that?
that's unbelievable. What engineering?
No unions, no red tape, no bureaucracy. Let's just go.
I pay my guys good.
That's right.
In fact, they're putting addition onto my tunnel right to my cell,
Love it.
but nobody knows about it.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
All righty. Let's talk a little Chicago Bears because they keep losing, but they keep getting more and more mentions in the national media because of the electrifying play of Justin Fields. What do you think about all this media love for Justin right now?
Well, I mean, they all predicted that they all put their stake in it, so they got to play it up, and I don't blame them. I mean, I'm not mad at the kid. I don't have nothing against the kid. I like him, but you know what? We're never going to win a Super Bowl with him until he plays to another level. And what I mean that is he's a great runner, electrifying. If he's still playing football for the Bears in 4 years, starting, I'll admit I'm wrong. I'll admit it. I just think the way he plays, and I know at times it's necessary. Once again, this is not a critique of him. Look what he's done. You put 29 points up a week, you're supposed to win. What I think the mortal sin is how everybody has gone along with what Poles decided to do. Now, would you agree that what happened with Fields after the New England game has been a shockingly awing, pleasant surprise?
Yeah, I agree.
And boom, 29, 30, we lose to Detroit, but we're losing. Here's the point. If it surprised us, I know it surprised Poles. I know it did. Poles didn't see this coming. If somebody tells him, listen, don't trade Quinn after the New England game, this is just going to get better. And he had already set up those talks because the trades don't happen in 1 day or 2 days. So they already set it up with New England. So then you had the Smith situation. I don't care about draft picks. I would have preferred we keep him for the whole year. He would have played, and he would have played well. So when you lose one of your front four and your main guy, and you lose your main guy of your linebackers, you have demolished your front seven. You have demolished it.
True.
Most of the tackles are made downfield now. I think if Fields turned this on maybe a week or two earlier, gets off to a better start, they don't hinder him with the play calling, I mean, we'd still be in the race. We'd still be in the race. The league is not that good. Green Bay's done. We can win today. I like them today. What is Atlanta going to do to stop the way that he's playing? The only way you can stop this kid from the way he's playing, and what did I tell everybody? I told everybody. I told Aldo day one. I don't care. I don't care about Justin Field. I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at the people that got rid of Trubisky. And if people want to get, I'm still on that bandwagon. I'm seeing Tannehill, who was considered a bust. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football now. You don't read about him, and he's got a great coach. All Trubisky needed was a different situation. We'll see what happens there. Fields got out of that situation, thank God, because we never saw this last year. Never. So now, with the 17-game season, after 5, 6, 7 games, after 7, 8 games, you're throwing in the towel. If this was baseball and teams were throwing in the towel and they were like 8 games out in June, we'd all be pissed if it was one of our teams. So why are we not pissed that we could have kept this together and maybe gotten one of the wild card spots? That's all. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm mad at Poles. I think he misjudged this. And so did everybody else, because we went from last year, future MVP, to this year, complete bust, to later this year, to a future Hall of Famer. That's what's happened. Except he's not passing the ball the way he should. And I told Carmen on Odds Couple, you could check it out on all your ESPN 1000, all your apps and everything else. I told Carmen, here's the secret. And I put out a tweet about it. It got good response. We heard about all the good things. We didn't hear about the pick six. If you don't throw the pick six, we win. If the block ain't the ball ain't blocked on the punt with Herbert, these games are all winnable.
Very much so.
Very winnable. So I'm watching the Giants still relevant. I'm watching Seattle still relevant. I'm watching all these other teams that we're supposed to be rebuilding. And like I've said earlier, when you're winning, the rebuilding stops. And we had that chance. We just said we had that in our mindset. And I think that was a mistake by Poles.
Mm-hmm. Some disagreements and some agreements in the chat room. Mark Collins says, well, the front seven sucked before the trade. But Mark, look at the stats. The Bears weren't allowing 30-plus points a game before Robert Quinn was traded.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out when Washington's beating everybody up. We lost to them 12-7, should have won. Mm-hmm. When did Washington do this to us? Mm-hmm. I mean, we lost to the Giants. We should have won that game. So I don't care what you think about the front seven.
Right.
Roquan Smith's a damn good football player. You want to debate me on that? I'll go all night long like Lionel Richie. Okay? The record will get scratchy.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not the biggest fan of Roquan Smith. I don't think he was a Butkus, a Singletary, and Urlacher, but he was good for this team.
Mm-hmm.
So you can play that little game. I don't think it was that good. We're right there. We're right there. If we have a defense, we're winning these games, folks, because they don't know how to defend Justin Fields right now. Mm-hmm. And when he gets away, my cousin, Cole Kmet, Mooney. I mean, I heard this nonsense. Well, put somebody around him again this week. My God, you got Montgomery, who they love, by the way. Mm-hmm. Herbert got hurt. You got a running back quarterback that's kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's part of the deal. Oh, the quarterback's doing a lot of those runs. So what? What's the difference whether he runs for 20 yards or he throws a 2-yard screen and a guy runs for 20 yards and he gets credit for that as a pass?
Right.
The kid, but the stat that is still got to get better. But it's also a remarkable other stat on this. Because Aldo sometimes goes on beforehand. He goes, hey, have you prepared? I go, yeah. So, no, we talk about other stuff, good stuff. But he's fumbled 24 times in like 20 games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but here's the best part. This year he's fumbled 12 times. Last year 12 times. Nobody knows that. Everybody looked at it on Twitter and goes, are you kidding me? You're not going to last long if you do that. But here's the remarkable stat. He's recovered all of them this year, or somebody has, for the Bears, except one.
Wow.
So it could be miss botch snap, it could be miss handoff, or it's him fumbling, which we've seen. The remarkable thing about him, he's getting them all. But someday that may be turning around. So you got to hold on to the football. He's improved over the last 3 games. We've put up enough points to win. We depleted our defense while we were adding an offensive receiver, Claypool, who doesn't impress me so far. But that was a good piece to put in anyway because it's helped Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
Mooney's played better. Kmet's played better with Claypool. Don't just look at the stats. Don't just look at the stats. But why upgrade your offense when you took away your defense?
Yep.
That's my deal.
Jay Sanders agrees with you. He tells people, remember when Roquan won us 2 games this season with late interceptions? He knows how to close out a game. So
and call a game. Mm-hmm. And call a game in the huddle. Don't forget, that's huge. Mm-hmm. And put people in position. And he was one of our own. But because this guy wanted draft picks, I said, I like the Claypool deal. We got a live body.
Mm-hmm.
We got a live body. I'm tired of like the White Sox. Hey, look what we got. 2 prospects. Shut up. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. And and then I hear the rebuild with the Bears. It's just disgusting because we had a shot. This NFC conference is up for grabs.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It's weaker than I've seen in many, many years.
Yeah.
And you're right, but there does appear to be a master plan by Ryan Poles, and he almost didn't care how good or bad the Bears played. He wants a top draft pick. He knows,
but it's not.
but we don't know that yet, right? We don't. Right now, they would.
We didn't get a first rounder, so
right now we would be drafting 7th with our pick with the Bears 1-loss record. I think it's 7th, and so he would love to have a top 5 pick because you get a superstar quality player there, and it helps to build for success.
You get you hope you get a superstar quality player.
True.
If we've talked about the Fields draft.
Mm-hmm.
Things ain't going according to plan for most of these quarterbacks, even for Justin. I mean, here's the thing I'm going to say. He's got to win a game. You can't be 5-15, 5-16. Have 24 fumbles. Fortunate to have a ton of interceptions. Hit some big passes, which he's done. And he's really willed this team to win. They just can't close for him, and he can't close. That's got to happen. And if that does, I think that's our next step. I think we can make the playoffs with this guy down the line. I just don't think we can win a Super Bowl.
Well, and he is still developing, though, Mike. So,
yeah,
do you see him having the capacity to become a pocket passing quarterback, which is what he was primarily at Ohio State? Now, Ohio State is different. Receivers are open by 10 miles, and the protection was outstanding. But have you seen enough this season where the pocket starts to close in and he stays in it, looks downfield, and makes a good pass? Do you think he can continue to build on that?
Me and B used to hit the buffets in Vegas at the right time. Now you're going, what the hell does that have to do with anything?
I think I know.
There's nobody around. We hit the buffet. Nobody. That's how Fields was at Ohio State. Then one time we decided we were hungry. We wanted to go down and eat about 5 o'clock Vegas time. All right. I was Fields under siege. People cutting in front of me, stopping at the green beans when you want to keep moving. Just the whole rhythm got thrown off. That's Ohio State, clean buffet, no problems. The Bears, busy buffet, 5:03 p.m. Big difference.
I love it. Okay.
Bears are winning today. Come on.
You got them winning? Really?
Who the hell is Atlanta? They're 4-6, right?
4-6, correct.
If we can't beat this team, here's what I'm hoping. They've been scoring so many points. I would probably take the Bears in the under and get destroyed, but I just, when is the points going to end? It's 48-49. I mean, are they going to? If this goes on every week, then everybody, like I just said, with the defensive thing, going to be shaking their head, going, "Wow, we won. We lost this game 40-39. Damn, if we would have just, hung on. That's all."
So. And the money line is, I must have written that Bears plus 15. That doesn't make sense, does it?
The money line would be, the Falcons are favored. So the money line is minus 155. If you want to bet the Bears at a dime line, you get them plus 145. You put 100 down, you win $145. In a 10-cent line, a 20-cent line, $135. If you bet Atlanta, 155 to win 100. The over-under is 49. That looks, I can't even believe this. I think that might be the highest over-under I've ever seen in Bear history, to be honest with you, involving the Chicago Bears. I can't remember too many. Hey, the Bears are 49, over and under. Bears are 32 and a half. Bears are 36.
Exactly.
Bears are 40 and a half, and it went down. I mean, you never saw. This was like the Chargers back in the day with Dan Fouts. The Daryl LaMotta, the Mad Bomber with the Raiders. Not this Bear team, but look at that, and that's off running. See, here's my point. If we're running, we've run for 5 games in a row of 200 yards. If I tell Aldo, if Aldo goes, Mike, you're out of the coma now. You've been gone for 5 weeks. I'm not going to give you the team, but they've rushed for 200 yards every week for the last 5 weeks. What do you think their record is? I'd probably say 4-1.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
It's the quarterback that's doing it. If Derrick Henry's doing it, if Walter Payton's doing it, that's a different story, because a lot of these runs are coming off broken plays. What I do like is that we have planned plays. We're running almost out of like I suggested, a wishbone, where, you got them going everywhere. You got Komet in motion this way. You got Montgomery that way. And what a tremendous, this is an underrated skill by Justin Field. He's a great ball faker. Great ball faker. Yeah. I can't follow the ball sometimes when he fakes it. And that's an art. Steve DeBerg, a lot of the guys that were just okay. But DeBerg played till he was 40-something years old.
Right.
Fields is a tremendous ball faker. He really is. You don't know if he's got the ball or not. That's got to be good for an extra 2-3 yards every carry.
Yeah. John makes a really good point about the Falcons secondary. He says it's brutal. Fields ought to let them rip and stay in the pocket and fire away. This would be a really good test for his passing prowess. It needs to improve. He needs to have 225, 250 yards passing this season. And, I would take that and replace some of the rushing yards with passing yards, because that's necessary. You got to be able to pass in this league.
Boy, I'll tell you what, they always say, do you and Eldo talk before the show? I go, we really don't. But we have a lot of the same thoughts, and sometimes when we disagree, that's the way it goes. But that's 100% spot-on analysis. What you want to see from anybody, and this is where I think Trubisky was hand-tied with Nagy. They wouldn't let him do that, run. What I would have liked to see Trubisky get is 215, 220 yards a week, like Justin, I want to see, and rush for 40, rush for 50. You got 300 yards total then just from your quarterback alone. So I'm with you 100%. But they should have still won these games. There's been the pick six and then the block punt, and there's always one or two plays that are the difference. Look at Minnesota this year compared to Minnesota last year. Minnesota was losing all these by score. They're winning them all. That's all you got. That's all you got to look at. They learned how to win those games, and their quarterback is pretty good, Cousins. I mean, you know what? That's See, and Justin hasn't gotten there yet.
Right. A lot of comments in the chat room about the offensive line not giving them protection. But you and I have talked about this, Micah, 2 or 3 shows ago. This offensive line is getting blamed too much. Fields is holding on to the ball too long. And so until that happens, the sack stats are still going to be high because he's holding on to the ball.
And he gives up on the play sometimes, Al. He'll be back there first. He'll go back. And if it doesn't transpire right away and he just senses they might be getting through, he pulls the play early. That's one thing. Holds on to the ball way too long. Number 2, their line leads the league in rushing, or is in the top 3. Their line really has protected him well if you looked at the games. It's up to him to try to stay in the pocket. How many times you see quarterbacks, even in college, stay in the pocket until they get blasted? Justin Fields wasn't conditioned for that at Ohio State. And that's something he's going to have to live with. He never had hands in his face all that much, in college.
Right.
This is a different ball game. It's faster, and you're playing on a team that wasn't as talented, if you want to do apples, as Ohio State in college. There's no doubt. You played at a football factory. The Bears are not a football factory.
No. It's interesting in the chat room. There's debate going on. People like 4,000 Clovers are saying that line sucks. And people like Matthew Fochisi says even passes that he hits, Fields is holding on to the ball too long. So there is a difference of opinion there, but I think you gotta
look. What about the rushing yards? And I know Fields has done it, but they keep him. Look, I know he's gotten out of some hairy situations, but watch him today. Go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. If you hit 3, he held it too long. And I caught 1,000, 2,000, 3, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You better get rid of it.
Right.
Do that all day today. See what happens. Maybe he'll have a good game.
Yeah. Sanders, who agrees with a lot of what you're saying, still is holding on to his contention that the pass blocking on the Chicago Bears sucks. And I just think it's too harsh of a statement. I don't think they're that bad. They're middle.
They should be great at play action. First of all, the pass blocking on 22 teams sucks. Okay? You overcome it. Tom Brady has lousy pass blocking. Stafford hasn't been able to overcome injuries and lousy pass blocking. I mean, if you're gonna, the Bears are the only. If you watch football like I do, there's quarterbacks running for their life on every channel. There's either, when I switch around, there's either a commercial on, or many times there's a quarterback running for his life, or throwing the ball away, or throwing it out of bounds. Okay, I mean, it's not that easy.
HR says, by the way, HR is here, so watch what you say. Easy fixes for JF. He'll develop into the ultimate complete quarterback, in my opinion. And I agree with HR. I think there's better days ahead for Justin Fields. He's going to clean these things up. I just hope he doesn't get killed.
Right.
Before
RG3, Cam Newton. He's not as big as those guys were. I mean, these guys were big. Josh Allen. Look at him lately.
Yeah.
He's going in the toilet a little bit.
Falling apart, yeah.
I mean, an injury's going to happen if you keep putting yourself out there, so.
It's a good point. It's a very good point.
I mean, I'm more worried about injury than anything else with him. That's what I'm worried about. Like I said earlier when the show started, if he's here in 4 years, I'll be surprised. As far as being whole and being a starter and what have you. I will.
Let's, before we look at the rest of the NFL lineup, why don't we tell people about who they should call if they suffer an injury at work?
If you're injured at work, don't try to be a hero and work in pain. Immediately tell your boss how you were injured and seek medical treatment. Then call my guy, attorney David Spada, to make sure that your rights are protected. David will fight for the payment of your medical bills, lost wages, and settlement. Insurance companies and employers have individuals representing their interests. Why not you? You must have an experienced attorney on your side. All fees are contingent upon your recovery. Call David Spada at 847-729-COMP. That's 847-729-2667.
How long have you known David Spada, Mike?
30 years. He used to come to the remotes, and he used to be one. He was a scorehead, and now you know what? Him and I have been friends. I mean, I used to see a lot of the same people at the remotes, and I became friends with some of them, and other business stuff I did with them. So
seems like a really good guy.
I brought up business. Got choked up. But anyway, very rare scene of choking in a violent manner. Who knows? I mean, boom, the next thing you know, forget about it. No. Okay. No. I walked the dog today. If I live through that, I'll live through anything. It's like 10 degrees out there.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe you were out there at 4 a.m. in the morning.
I don't say just a couple thousand more feet and we're set. I go, no, we're going in now. Forget about it.
How is it that these dogs can withstand this extreme heat and extreme cold temperatures?
And he doesn't even have a coat that's like furry or nothing.
Yeah.
He's got like a boxer's coat, but he's got it made. He don't care. By the way, for everybody out there, go shop for your solar panels. In the meantime, I'll be turning my thermostat up to 76, blowing up that fossil fuel, baby.
There you go. All right, let's go over to Baltimore, where the Panthers 3-7 are playing the Ravens 8-3. The spread has, did I miswrite this? -13. Ravens? Yeah,
okay. -13. The Ravens are against the Panthers that have basically tanked, and Rule was an abomination. If you had any guts, you'd bet the Ravens -$700 to win the 100.
Yeah.
Or if you just got some throwaway money, maybe put a quarter down, 25 down. The Panthers have won some games, a couple games by surprise. You put down 25, you win 100. So whatever.
Yeah.
$125 you would win for putting down 25, or if you want to put down 100, you win 500. Not bad. I wouldn't do anything in this game.
I was going to say the same thing. I'm not even sure Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Ravens, is going to play. I know he's been banged up too. Another running quarterback.
He's sick all the time. This guy.
He's sick.
He's sick again. The guy's got the flu. He's sick, and every year he's sick. When I was his age, the only time I was sick 3 times a week was a hangover, but that's beside the point. I mean, my God, he's sick a lot. I mean, for a guy that's a prime athlete, he gets sick. Last year he was sick a few times. Stomach problems, I think he's got.
Yeah, no, I think he's sick of the contract that he has, and he wants a new one right now.
You know what? He's another guy. I love him. You know that. I don't think they'll ever win a Super Bowl with him.
Yeah,
I don't. They won with Trent Dilfer.
you know,
Who was the quarterback? Who was the quarterback when they won with Ray Lewis? I can't even remember. Was it Trent?
It was Trent. Yeah, Trent Dilfer. Yeah.
Who, by the way, very high on Justin Fields.
That's right. He's been very.
And you know what? I'm sort of like hesitant to say, but Trent Dilfer, I respect his acumen. I do.
Laz says that he believes Faker Mayfield is going to play in that game. Oh boy, that's going to be fun.
You know what? I mean, he's a guy that I thought, they made the playoffs with him one year. I mean, you thought that Cleveland finally had it figured out. I think the Deshaun Watson thing is an abomination. He should have gotten a year at least. The fact that you settle out of court with like 30 to 40 people, that should be the NFL doing something. I don't know where all the NFL reporters are to write about this. Nobody's talking about it. I think many people are embarrassed by it. I know Cleveland fans. I've been on with Munch Bishop. They're not crazy about this whole thing. It's cast a little bit of a pall. In the meantime, they're trying to take away Dan Snyder's team, for the same type of situations, but they're letting the quarterback in who had issues with 30 to 40 females, allegedly. So, and there's still a couple holdouts. And yet they want him to play in the league while they want to take the other guy's franchise around him. So it's sort of like the hypocrisy just continues on from a distance because one guy can throw the football and he's pretty good. I wanted him before. I didn't want Mahomes. Most Bear fans didn't. All these people, you got Mitch. We wanted Mahomes. No, you didn't. I was here. I wanted Watson. I was upset they didn't really go through the interview process with him. I wanted Watson. And that's it. But, now look what's happened. This kid had everything going for him. They got that big guaranteed contract so he could pay people off. He's got the largest guaranteed contract ever. Does that make sense to you? A guy that had that issue? Think about it, folks.
It baffles me, and I'm sure that Roger Goodell is not happy he's got to deal with that problem.
Yeah,
so.
well, that's what they decided to do. I thought they restructured everything for the women, that the women would get a fair shake, and then you see this.
Yep. Not good.
No.
At Indianapolis, it's the Eagles who lost their first game of the season this past week. They're 8-1. They're playing the Eagles 4-5-1. The spread is Eagles -6.5. The money line is Eagles -290. Colts +240, and the over/under is 45.
I'd take the Eagles, Al. I would take the Eagles. They're gonna come back. And let me just say this about the Colts and the way that betting's going in the National Football League.
Okay.
I was on this very show. In fact, if you listen to the AM 1000 podcast of the Odds Couple, I was 2-1. Randy's 2-1. Carmen and me got 4 games up today. But I mentioned Eldo and I were on the bar room last Sunday. And I said to Eldo, okay, Buffalo 3.5. And Eldo says, wait a minute, Mike, it's 6.5. I go, well, what the hell happened? Because they made it sound like Josh Allen was never going to play.
Right.
Never. And when Eldo first saw it, it still wasn't clear whether he was going to play or not.
Right.
Now, I'm following this. I go, well, I'm taking Buffalo on the show. I got it at 3.5 health. Half hour before the game, they go, he's not out practicing. So everybody thinks the number 2 guy's playing. The line goes back down to 4. Shame on the National Football League. Shame on them. There's people making money off this. There's going to be a scandal someday. You can't play that game. And I'll give you another one. The Colts. Last week. Edinger's going to play. Edinger's going to play. Edinger's all the way. And then Matt Ryan's in the game. 2 times they screwed gamblers over. That never used to happen. Now you got the NFL in bed with these guys. And I'll tell you another thing. There'll be someday these props, they've gotten out of control. And there's going to be a scandal where, I don't know, a football player tells another guy, put $5 million down or put $1 million down on me under 60.5 yards. He goes, well, what the hell? What happens if you rip off a 40-yarder in the first quarter? I'll get hurt.
Yeah.
I'll get hurt.
It's hamstring.
I'll pull a hamstring. Or Or let's say you know Justin Jeffrey. Let's say you know that kid from Minnesota who killed me last week with that catch. What a catch. He doesn't even have to tell them. He could say, listen, guys, I'm going to be targeted in the game plan for 15 targets. What's my over-under for catches? 7. Okay, I just wanted to tell you that. That tells you right there to take the over. Someday, you heard it here. I've seen it all. There's family members, down and out members, people making money off prop bets because they're getting inside trader information. Period. End of story.
Do you think fans should be suspicious of the officiating in the NFL? Because we've seen a lot of out of control calls.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing then you see you go, no. How many times a year do the announcer go, no, that didn't happen? Or 3-4 times a game.
Right.
So I think, you got an insurance guy that's a referee. But I think it's easier for prop bet. I think that's more for the game. I think for prop bets, you get a crooked player, man, there's money to be made. I mean, they used to say Magic Johnson played with the totals. You'd have the over-under at 192, and there'd be a minute left, and you got 190, and you got the over, and Magic's out there at the front just dribbling the ball, and then he throws an interception or something happens. They say Lou Holtz played once in a while with the point spread to help the alumni. I mean, this isn't new. I'm just saying prop bets, man, a touchdown. Hey, Johnny, you think you're going to score a touchdown in this game? Well, they're going to take me out as a running back out of goal line situation. So I'd probably say it's going to be tough. Boom. Plus 165. Johnny doesn't score a touchdown. And he doesn't. That's all.
Now all those
are paranoid.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say all those were unproven allegations, right? So
most of my ex been that way for 30 years. To be honest with you. Including about me, but that's beside the point.
That's hilarious. All right, there's a football game in Detroit today. It's not the Lions, though. It is the Browns at the Bills, and the spread is Bills -7.5. The money line Bills -360. Browns +300, and the over/under as of last night was not listed. So I'm assuming they're waiting to see what time the Bills get into town or something like that.
I first of all think the game should have still been played in Buffalo. You have fans that jump from second-story buildings onto tables, okay? and they're worried about them driving 2 miles to the game or walking to the game. You got a guy going, I'm going to do a double twirl. I'm going to land on a picnic table. Crack my skull open and then have a beer, and they're worried about people driving to the game.
That's hilarious.
I like Cleveland to cover the game. Okay. I just think it's too much. Don't forget these guys are on the phone with their families. It was a hassle to get out. They had. I know what people are going to say. I'm not saying the Bills are going to lose. I think they eke one up.
Okay. Well, I totally get your logic on that. The Bills are a far superior team, but they've had to really go through a lot.
Oh my God. I mean, really think about it. I mean, you start looking out the window. The other day it was snowing. I'm not going anywhere. I go, man, it's snowing. I wasn't going anywhere, but I go, man, it's snowing.
A great video too of football players raising their garage doors, and there's nothing but a wall of snow there.
Yeah, let's get out on Friday when we know it's hitting us.
Exactly. All right, the Commanders are playing the Houston Texans. Lovie Smith's team is 1-7-1. The Commanders are 5-5. The spread is Commanders -3. The money line Commanders -160. Texans +140, and the over/under is 41. What do you think, Mike?
First of all, I want to tell you something, Aldo.
Uh-oh.
I have so much fun doing this show. That's all I wanted to tell you.
Okay.
I mean, you're great. We have fun. We get up in the morning. But here's what I don't have fun.
Okay.
Lovie Smith. He's destroyed me this year. I heard this guy Mills was supposed to be good, right?
Yeah.
Next year, he's going to be digging out of his house, going to a game, not playing in it. God. He awful. And Lovey, He doesn't have it over there. He straightened out a situation. These people got caught with their, well, I don't want to say pants down, but with the Deshaun Watson situation. Then they trade J.J. Watt. He goes, get me the hell out of here.
That's right.
I mean, seriously. So, I mean, they were right there. So I'm not going to do anything in this game. If I was, I'd probably bet Lovey and lose.
I'm
I
betting.
mean, he looks like Santa Claus. He looks like Santa Claus, but he's not giving.
He's going to give them the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, which is what we want most of all.
Well, who's that, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who cares? That's my thing. Oh, we're going to get a draft pick. There's not even a good 20 good players in college anymore. For God's sake.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, let's move on to New England, who are 5-4. The Jets are visiting them. They're 5-3. The spread is Patriots -3.5. Money line is Patriots -190. Jets +160. The over/under is a measly 37.5. What do you think?
I like the Jets. I think that New England is good. I think they're well coached. We know how great the coach is.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like the Jets got belief now. They never had that before. And this is a team that was rebuilding, folks.
Mm-hmm.
But things have gotten better. I still don't believe in their quarterback. I still think the class is an average class of quarterbacks that came in that draft.
Mm-hmm.
But they're 5-3.
Mm-hmm.
They're 5-3, folks. The Jets. I'm going to take the Jets.
Okay. And New Orleans, the Rams, the lowly Rams, 3-6. Wow, it's unbelievable to see that. They're playing the Saints 3-7. The spread is the Saints -2.5. The money line is -150 on the Saints side, +125 on the Rams side, and the over/under is 39. What do you think?
Well, first of all, how bad is Jameis Winston?
Oh, goodness.
Andy Dalton is still starting.
That's
they said this week, who's the starting quarterback? They said Andy Dalton again. How bad has it gotten for Jameis Winston? He's a turnover machine. Okay, they know it. They can't win with him. But Andy Dalton, he's serviceable, but he's good for 2 turnovers a game. I'd lean the Rams, but shame on them too. Shame on Stafford. I guess he's a one-hit wonder. You know, he had I Fought the Law and the Law Won by the Johnny Fuller Group. Love Grows Where My Rosemary Goes by Edison Lighthouse. Sugar Sugar by the Archies, and the Rams Super Bowl by Stafford. Those are your one-hit wonders, folks, because they're not going back. I mean, they lost that game the other day, last week. I guess they rushed 3 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Raheem Morris as an offensive coordinator isn't getting it done, but I like the Rams.
All right, likes the Rams. So take the Rams.
Yeah, I don't know why the Saints are favored, man.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be out for the Rams. Cooper Kupp's out.
That's right. That is.
Yet it's only 2.5. Stay away from me. Cooper Kupp's out.
Yeah.
He's the only guy that comes to play on that team for the most part.
Well, you think Allen Robinson will finally get involved?
I love Allen Robinson. He played one time with a quarterback that him and the quarterback got 200 receptions in 2 years.
Is that quarterback?
You know what? Not good enough. Not good enough. Harumph. I always liked Harumph. Does anybody ever go Harumph? I used to read it in the comic books. I go, hey, Gooch, the guy goes Harumph. Who does that? No, you know what? It's just amazing some of the politics played in America.
Yeah.
Not only on the field, but off.
Always have been that.
Lions
at Giants. The Lions are 3-6, coming off a win over our beloved, and the Giants are 7-2 with Brian Daboll, candidate for Coach of the Year. Giants. The spread says -3 for the Giants. The money line, Giants -170, Lions +145, and the over/under is a healthy 44.5. Your thoughts on this one?
I like Detroit. I thought that game they won last week against the Bears was huge for them, but to win 2 road games in a row would be tough. The Giants have been blessed.
Mm-hmm.
This is a team that I would look at that next year could be like one of the teams that made the playoffs this year
Mm-hmm.
and then be out of the playoffs next year. Things have gone right for them. I think Jones has done a good job. He goes to the hilt. Daboll is a guy that I wanted. I also, Bibi reminded me, she goes, you wanted Josh McDaniel for the Bears, but if you didn't get McDaniel, you wanted Daboll last year.
Mm-hmm.
You told Eldo that. She goes, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, yeah, I did, but, I got to be straight up. I go, once he went to the Giants, we didn't know who Eberflus was, and he's done a tremendous job, so I'm not worried about that. I think Dable's done a good job of stability. He's a real good play caller. I like the Lions, though, in this game, even though, I mean, how's the weather in New York? In New York City, in New Jersey.
Right.
I know it's got to be a little brisk. I mean, we're talking about Buffalo. It's not that far, is it?
That's right. There's got to be some precipitation.
Yeah. But I would probably go. I like the Lions. I do. They're sort of pesky. They're the fly at the picnic. You try to eat your potato salad, and it keeps buzzing. And then you go, I think I got him. Then he's looking up at you from on top of the potato, looking up at you like this. That's how the Giants. They're always there.
So you're picking the Lions and the +3. Okay. So
why not?
Let's head over to Russell Wilson territory at Denver. The Raiders are 2-7. The Broncos 3-6. Two highly disappointing teams this year. Broncos -3 is the spread, and the money line Broncos -145. Raiders +125. The over under 41.5. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I think I was winning last week with the Broncos 10-0. They lost 17-10. The Russell Wilson experiment has not worked. We're seeing guys like Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. So we're starting to see the wheels start to fall off. The Raiders, Derek Carr, has done something impossible that I didn't think was possible in my world. He has actually performed worse than Jay Cutler did when he was with the Bears. Cutler was 57-57, made one playoff. This goof hasn't won a playoff game for 10 years.
Wow.
And yet he's on this team still. You telling me they don't need a change at quarterback? How come these guys keep getting these opportunities? And Josh McDaniels got to be gone after this year. Although I'm hearing Mark Davis say, that he's the guy we want. We've had some you were up by 17 3 different times and you blew those leads. This was a playoff team from last year. So if he's gone at the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised. I would take the Raiders in this game. If not against the Broncos, then who? And by the way, Nathaniel Hackett, he shouldn't be a head coach anywhere. Period. End of story.
All right. So take the 3 points and bet on the Raiders. We'll go to Minneapolis, where the Vikings are 8-1 and looking like the NFC favorites. They're playing the Cowboys in probably the game of the week. The spread says the Cowboys are -2. Money line Cowboys -125. Vikings +105. The over under 48.5. Your thoughts?
That is the weirdest point spread I've ever seen.
Isn't it weird?
They've won 8 of 9. I'm going to give everybody a little lesson. Look. Let me move everything out. I'm going to give everybody a little stat. I got it from ESPN stats. Oh, here he goes. Another boring stat. I don't do that. But when I do what I do, this has something to do with gambling. Since there's been no quarterback who started the season like Kirk Cousins, has gone 8-1 in the National Football League since 1976. That's been an underdog at home. Since 1976, never has there been a team that good with the quarterback they started the season with. That's an underdog. I'm taking Minnesota. Wow. I think Minnesota's good. I think Kevin O'Connor. We talked about Coach of the Year earlier.
Yes.
You look at Pete Carroll. I love Pete Carroll. People tell me you're as vibrant as he is in the 70s. I go, listen. Of course, that's my mother. That's beside the point. I go, Pete Carroll is a good coach. And he's proven it this year without Russell Wilson. He's one guy, okay, that should be coach. Dable, like Eldo just said, okay? Where would you put this guy O'Connor? He's 4-1 right now to win Coach of the Year. If they beat Dallas today, it's going to be like 2-1, So if you can get a bet in on the future, I like it, especially if they beat Dallas. Dallas goes to 6-4, and everybody starts complaining about Dak Prescott again, because they were playing better with the other guy, period, end of story.
I love that tip because I'm with you on Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. I'm gonna make a bet on that very thing.
Why not? I mean, if we lose, we lose. But my God, telling me I'm getting points with an 8-1 team at home, and I know Dallas is Dallas. Oh, Dallas, America's team. When it comes to crunch time, Dak Prescott has problems. That's all I'm going to say. And Ezekiel Elliott is a waste of time. Play Pollard. And you know what? Dallas has got a great defense, but man, Kirk Cousins has done the job this year.
Look at this compliment we got, Mike and Aldo. This is chemistry. chemistry.
All on Aldo's side.
You know what I got in chemistry when I was in school? An F minus.
My division teacher was a biology teacher. I actually had a class with him, and I didn't show up for 30 straight days. But I checked in the division. His name was Mr. Walchuk, one of the great guys. He goes, Mike, come here. It says here, you've been at division 30 straight days. Yeah. But you've missed my class 10 straight days. 11 o'clock.
That's right.
Division's 9 o'clock. Lunchtime, bowling machine, jukebox, school store, women. Come on.
Another thing we have in common, Mike.
Oh, baby.
All right, let's go.
You know, people don't know cutting school was an art.
That's right.
You had to dodge the cops back then.
Absolutely.
They'd be driving around the school. You go, there they are.
Hey, there's Joe, the truant officer.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, Joe?
And if they caught you, they gave you a little crack, and then they'd let you go.
That's exactly right.
That's it.
Speaking of letting go, have you let go on the Mitch Trubisky Steelers quarterback situation?
Yeah, I want him the quarterback. Next year, I think he'll have takers with the Raiders. I've been looking at Carolina. The Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. They don't know how is Mitch not playing in these goofs. I mean, Mitch got a raw deal. Everybody knows that. Justin had a raw deal until this year. Got a new coaching staff, and maybe that will help him. A lot of other players have had raw deals. You know, Jimmy G, Trey Lance. Here's what I want everybody to do. Is Trey Lance going to take the beating Mitch took? Are the 49ers going to take the beating for taking a guy ahead of Justin Fields, right? And trading 3 first-rounders? When you have a quarterback, they may go to the Super Bowl, folks. Think about that. I'm taking the Bengals today at 5-4. I still think the Steelers are tanking. I do. I'll take the Steelers. Whatever the point spread is, I think it's -3.
-3.5 as of last night. And then our final game.
They need a win, man. They need a win.
Big time. Chiefs are 7-2 playing the Chargers, who are a disappointing 5-4. A lot of people had them at 7-2 at this point in the season. The spread is the Chiefs are giving away 5.5 points at Los Angeles against the Chargers. I think that's where they play. I always get mixed up. Chiefs are -230 on the money line. Chargers are +195. The over under 52.5.
First of all, LA doesn't need a football team. They don't need two. Sudden now stadium. You have a Chargers that's like a renter, and they have no home field advantage, not at all. And neither do the Rams. Now that doesn't mean anything because the Rams won it last year. Okay. But the Chargers, I put Mahomes not in quite this class, but close. Of quarterbacks, I was terrified to bet against. Marino, Montana, Bart Starr, Johnny Unitas. Okay? I can go all night long. I didn't like betting against Montana especially. I bet Montana. I bet against them once with Vince Ferragamo getting 10. We lost by 9. I got the game, but I almost had a heart attack. You know, that's how these quarterbacks are. That's the way I feel about Mahomes. If I'm not going to bet Mahomes, I stay away. To me, I think they destroy the Chiefs. I think they destroy the Chargers, but I'm not going to play it.
Wow,
he's that good. He's that damn good, man. You know.
There is a betting philosophy where you bet on the better quarterback. Isn't that right? I think I've heard that before.
Well, if that was my philosophy, I would have been a billionaire by now because I would have bet against the Bears almost every game from the time I was 14. I'd be like that guy. I'd be like that guy Musk. Hey, first of all, let me go on record as saying I like the man. I don't want you to get rid of Twitter. Okay, just hang in there. The guy I love people that doubt people that actually shot a rocket off. I have trouble starting my car. This guy shot a rocket off. You know? They go, what have you ever done that's impressive? I invented an electric car. Oh, okay. I also have shot rockets off to Mars.
That's right. Okay.
But I can't figure Twitter out. Come on.
Oh, hey,
you can do it.
You got an old fan here. Mike is still out here looking good, boss. Hi from Atlanta, from Shannon Green.
Shannon, where the hell you been, man?
That's right.
From Atlanta. I went there for the Super Bowl. I'll never forget it. They had an inch of snow. They went into a panic.
You can catch Mike here every week on Sunday morning on Mike Norris Early Bears Special. He talks about Chicago Bears and also gives you the lowdown on all the NFL games. Mike, it's been great. We will see you next week. Same time, same station. All right.
You know I love you, brother. Thanks, buddy. Thanks to all the listeners and everybody else. So long, everybody.
Thank you.